cool wee ones running around too. That's really awesome, man. What I don't see is enough green. Should be a little more green. People should be wearing green, should be puffing on green, you know. Green is why we're here. We're all green people. Green is important, right? It's the best color of all, really. I like the sky blue, it's nice, but where would we be without green, you know? The grass and the trees and the flowers and all that. We wouldn't be very far. And in fact, we've had our growth as human beings stunted by the powers that be by taking away our favorite green. 100 years they did that here in Canada. Wasting tax dollars and police resources. How many people were here when the Gestapo showed up an hour ago or so? Yeah, wasn't that something, eh? Canada's corruption on parade right here for everybody to see. What a bunch of bullies. Oh my God, standing there with their guns and their big chests all puffed out going, yeah, you can't do this. We're here to make sure you can't do it because there's bylaws against it. Screw that, bylaws against it. We have a right to assemble as people. We have a right to protest, and damn it, we need to protest. Those people are way out of line. Way out of line. The whole government in Canada is way out of line. And that's kind of why we're here today. Although St. Fatty's Day, I'm sure we're gonna celebrate that anyway. But it's a fundraiser for the CSP. And the CSP has to raise funds because the government refuses to give us what they should to help us do what we're supposed to be doing here, which is their work. We're doing God's work, but we're also doing the government's work. So if anybody's here and they don't know what I'm talking about the CSP. We would have our booths up, but the Gestapo decided, oh no, that's too far. That's too far. You can't have any protection from the shade if you're going to be protesting. But the CSP, what that stands for is the Cannabis Substitution Program. Because cannabis is a really good substitute for opioids and alcohol and commercial tobacco and a whole bunch of other drugs and things that cause people all kinds of problems. Now, primarily, the CSP is about the opioid problem. Really, what it's about is freedom and trying to force the government into allowing what we call low barrier access to cannabis. Low cost and no cost. Shouldn't be anything wrong with that. This whole thing has been upside down for 100 years in Canada. Using the criminal law and Canadian taxpayer money to prohibit or attempt to prohibit free people from having access to a plant that lots of people like. What the hell is that? That's not freedom. These people obviously are not public servants in any stretch of that imagination. They think they own our assets. They're subservient to the corporations. And the corporations do not have our best interests in mind. They have making money in mind. That's their sole focus. The government has a little bit of focus on control as well. And the corporations use that to control people into buying and producing from them. But it's all about money. And maybe there's nothing wrong with that until it gets wrong. Until you use slavery, until you monopolize products, until you gouge the public. And all of that's going on. These corporations are there to maximize their profits on behalf of their shareholders, where they are beholden by law to make as much profit as they can. And they're more than willing to use their enormous wealth and connections to make sure nobody else gets a piece. It's been bloody wrong for a long, long time. There was never any justification for trying to restrict people's access to cannabis. Oh yeah, there was stories, all right. There was a bunch of lies being printed by people that had a lot of money to make on it. They tried to convince everybody that, hey, smoking weed makes people violent and insane. We gotta stop that. Oh my God, our children
Our poor children, they're all going to be insane and dead at a young age because of that nasty devil's weed. It was all bullshit and lies. And by the time it got to the desk of our public servants, it should have been stopped right there. But they're on the take. They've been on the take since the beginning. They're in bed with these corporations. They don't work for us. They work for them. And because of that, we've had over 100 years, 101 now, of prohibition. And don't be fooled into thinking that legalization is not prohibition. Legalization is just trying to hand the whole industry over to the Trudeau cartel. And everybody else that would dare to try to grow a few of nature's best plants or help somebody get access, they'll be met with the full brunt of taxpayer money and armed and dangerous police officers to stop that from happening. There was no fewer than 10 RCMP cars parked down there while those people were here harassing us and intimidating us. There's also bylaw vehicles. There's also city police vehicles. 10 RCMP cars. Do you think if we had a stabbing in the park, a robbery, somebody gets mugged, there's a fight going on, you think you're going to send 10 RCMP cruisers here to deal with it? In Surrey, where there's fights every night, parks all around? No, they don't really care about that too much. But they obviously really care that people don't undercut the government stores to get their cannabis. It's a protection racket. We're paying for it, and we're the victims of it. If that's not wrong, I don't know what is. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. This is a fundraiser for the CSP, the Cannabis Substitution Program. I want to give great kudos to Rosie, who I guess got chased off by the cops, but she's been doing it for a year and a half here in Surrey. Gary and Bridget just left there. I guess they passed their 6 months in Newton there. We got Dan here who's doing the Langley CSP. That's been going on for a few months. We're in Mission. We're in Ottawa. We were in London, Ontario, but that had to close because the guy running it got sick. That's too bad. He'll be back up at some point. We got Halifax for over 5 years. Been running Ottawa. The CSP there. So we're defying government edicts in being here. I represent the Vancouver CSP. We're in our 8th year now. That's incredible. And we're just every day, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, breaking the law. Because the law says, no, you can't provide cannabis at low cost and no cost. They came and arrested me 2 years ago, along with a couple of my colleagues. I'll be in court on that coming up on the 26th, 27th, and 28th of this month, so like 10 days from now. That's a Tuesday, I think it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, okay. Alright, so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not this week, but the following week. Come on down to the courthouse in Vancouver there and give us a little bit of support. I think it's at 222 Main, but it might not be. Yeah, you think so. Okay. 222 Main it is. We can trust Glenn. 8 out of 10 times we can trust Glenn. He's only at 6 with me, so he's got 2 more that we won't dispute. The 222 Main, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 o'clock, out in front of the courthouse, we will have a session, and we will have a little video stream of exposing what we're doing there and taking the federal government to court for being criminally negligent in not supporting the CSPs. In Vancouver, we're in our 8th year. Hundreds of people have been rescued from their addiction by the use of high-dose edibles to get through withdrawal. That's a very powerful thing that we're doing. And it's so hypocritically criminal that a federal government during a public health emergency of overdose and death won't support what we have proven year after year and continue to prove day after day works really well for many people to get them through the withdrawal. And the withdrawal is the only reason why most people don't quit those drugs. They can't stand the physical pain of the withdrawal. Cannabis edibles can help with that. So, I guess we're timed. What? We got 1 minute? We got 1 minute to count it down to our favorite time of every day and our favorite day of the year. Coming up in not too many weeks from now, we're going to have April 20th. I don't think the Vancouver mayor or any of his representatives are here, so I guess I can tell you. We're going to do it at the Vancouver Art Gallery this year in a real low-key, hopefully off-the-radar event that probably will be massive and every bit as good as the other 420s we put on there, because news spreads fast and people want to have that, so we're going to do that. We must be getting really close now. So if you got some green, get it ready, because we're at 420 coming right up here. And